Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So I apologize for my absence if anyone even noticed, but between school, the fires, potential evacuation, my wedding anniversary, it's just been an interesting few days. Do not recommend. Anyway, since all of these serious things are going on, I figured I would talk about the most serious thing going on right now, and that's everything going on with Dave Grohl and his cheating scandal. I'm being facetious, obviously, when I say that, but I do think there are some PR techniques that are hilarious, obviously, in terms of pop culture and in the context of unimportant news. But these are the same PR techniques that we see used for propaganda and more serious subjects, so I think it's interesting to analyze it on a lighthearted scale where it's not too heavy, because the heaviness, girl, I have enough, so we're not doing that. People on social media have also been really funny about this, so we're gonna talk about that. Foo Fighters' Dave Grohl reveals he cheated on his wife, welcomed baby, quote unquote, outside of his marriage. Now you're gonna hear a joke that nobody has made yet. Dave Grohl has a confession to make. I admit I did enjoy it the first time I read it. Once I read it like over 20 times, it stopped being all that great. The Foo Fighters frontman has welcomed a child outside of his marriage and is fighting to regain the trust of his wife, Jordan Blum, and other children. The rock legend made the stunning revelation in an Instagram post Tuesday. So the Instagram post is really what kicked off all of this scandal, and I think the reason it interests me is because as an English major, how people use words and how people are roundabout about shitty things is interesting, right? Because that's the whole role of PR. You either make something sound way better than it is or try to make it sound less bad, depending on how dire the situation is. I don't believe for a second that this was actually worded by Dave Grohl. I think that certainly he had to have some input, because this sounds robotic and also in some ways fake. Like, if AI generated this, I wouldn't be surprised at all. So, I've recently become the father of a new baby daughter born outside of my marriage. I plan to be a loving and supportive parent to her. I love my wife and my children, and I am doing everything I can to regain their trust and earn their forgiveness. We're grateful for your consideration towards all of the children involved as we can move forward together. Dave. So upon reading this, first of all, this is a very weird way to announce that you're having a child, quote unquote, outside of your marriage. I mean, I don't know if there's a normal way you can announce such a thing, because obviously there is taboo, because obviously we understand that there's cheating based on the implications here. It clearly wasn't an open marriage. But I have to laugh at the father of a new baby daughter born outside of my marriage. It just seems so unnecessary to put it that way, and honestly, I don't even know why exactly this statement is being made, because if the news was gonna come out regardless, I don't know what this statement does in his benefit, unless it's the part of saying that he's doing everything he can to regain the trust and forgiveness of his family. But that to me is just like a reminder of like, okay, so it was a betrayal. Okay, so it wasn't an open marriage. Okay, so you really did something shitty and really fucked up. So I don't know, and personally, I don't really think we're the ones he should be taking accountability with, so I don't, like I said, I'm private. I don't understand the need for these posts unless you're a social media influencer, in which case the New York Post isn't going to talk about your weird scandal, but in this case, it was, I don't know, that's just me, but there has been a lot of talk about this because the turning of words to make this sound less bad is what's interesting, at least to me, because realistically, what are we even saying here? We're saying, hey, I had an affair, I betrayed my partner, I hurt my children, and now I have another child on the way that is not going to be part of my direct family, assuming that your direct family is who you're married to. So I'm gonna try and take care of that kid that came out of this bad situation where probably everyone, including the mother of this other child, is probably going through it as well. So really, you're announcing that you were shitty. Like, that's what this is. Speaking with Q Magazine in 2007, Grohl recalled seeing the former model and MTV producer for the first time and thinking, oh my god, not a chance. He ultimately made a move with the help of some liquid courage. By the end of the night, I was pissed and I'm staring at her going, "You're my future ex-wife," he said. So he gave me her number. Jordan, your future ex-wife. Listen, I'm not trying to judge anyone, but if someone said that I was their future ex-wife, that is not attractive at all to me. Like, I don't know if that's just a me thing, but it's like, yes, a marriage or a relationship that works and inevitably crumbles. Here, by all means, take my number. I just think that's an interesting pickup line, but then again, the power of fame and, I guess, liquid courage might do something there. Despite thinking Blum was a total bombshell when they met, he later admitted that he ghosted her shortly after their courtship began. When I first met my wife, we went out on a few dates and I decided that I wasn't ready for a serious relationship, so I stopped calling, he confessed in a 2000 interview with Elle. Again, shitty behavior in my opinion. Just say what you mean. I mean, like, I'm not saying you have to continue a relationship, but I'm not going to get onto the topic of ghosting, but if you don't have the courage to just say, hey, I'm not interested in continuing this, I don't think you should be in any type of relationship. But moving on. But Blum stayed on his mind. After 3, I had a revelation and called her back. I wonder if this revelation was a rejection by someone else. Anyway, Blum was shocked to hear the rocker's voice on the other end of the phone telling him, "Oh, I never thought I'd hear from you again." The pair went on to say "I do" on August 2nd, 2003, in a private ceremony at their LA home. The guest list included, okay, nobody cares. The marriage was Blum's first and Grohl's second. The star had been married to photographer Jennifer Youngblood. They divorced in 97. Grohl and Blum welcomed their first child, a daughter, Violet May, 18, in 2006, and the pair have 2 other daughters, Harper Willow, 15, who was born in 2009, and Ophelia Saint, 10, in 2014. The couple were seen at Wimbledon in July, sitting inside the royal box along with other celebrities such as David Beckham. The family, who seldom makes public appearances together, also stepped out at the 2023 Grammys and posed on the red carpet. I also think that this is an interesting thing. Oftentimes, before a scandal actually comes out, there's a lot more public appearances all of a sudden, and I do always wonder if that is a PR stunt of like, oh, look at this happy family, like they're doing so well, blah, blah, blah. So then when it comes out that he cheated, it's like, oh, well, maybe it was just, you know, a one-night stand because look, like over a month ago, they looked so happy together. I don't know what the methodology there is, but it's just interesting how that timing works out for a lot of situations where cheating is involved. Blum has been private about her marriage to Grohl over the years. The rock star, meanwhile, gushed about his family in 2007. "Jordan and Violet are anchors that keep me from completely disappearing," Grohl told The Guardian at the time. Grohl also looked at his career choices in a different light after having kids. So then it talks about like Foo Fighters and projects they've done, and honestly, that's not very interesting to me. In the context of what we're talking about. At the end, he does say that Blum has also been a muse for Grohl. The Grammy winner shared that the Foo Fighters song Statues from their 6th studio album, Echoes, Silence, Patience, and Grace, was penned for her while speaking with GQ in 2008. Honestly, what this says to me is when they bring up all this shit, I know it's an oversimplification, so I'm gonna try and stop thinking that way, but it's like, if this person is your muse, if she makes you want to be a better person, if she makes you actually be a better person, the cheating is 10 times worse. And granted, these quotes are from 2007 and 2008, so along the way, things can change. Let me be very clear about that. But in the context of this article, it makes him look way more shit to be like, she's my muse. I care about my children. I used to tour 9 months out of the year. Now I never want to leave them. And then boom, guess what? You're having a baby outside of your marriage with another woman. And it's like, okay, so now how are we supposed to take you seriously? And again, like I said, it's not that simple, but it is interesting how all of this was worded, because ironically, I think it makes it 10 times worse. In my books, I'd rather genuinely have someone say, I cheated, I fucked up, the person I was with is having a child or something, you know, like obviously I'd find better wording, but I'd rather someone just be direct instead of this roundabout child outside of my marriage. Like, as if we don't get what that means. Also because people on social media have had things to say. Things like, and this is an interesting concept as well, I'm willing to bet tens of dollars that the mom of that baby was born in a year that starts with a 2. Now, people in the comments were saying, you know, like, who cares when she's born? And the reality is, I think that this touches on the stereotype of, you know, the older man who cheats on his wife with a way younger woman who's potentially easier to manipulate and potentially is less immune to the idea of his fame than an older woman, potentially. But it would be interesting if she were way younger, because obviously we go back into the whole discussion of power dynamics, especially with celebrities with partners that have a significant age gap. Then most people were commenting on the weirdness of the statement. Like I said, Dave Grohl is having a child out of wedlock and announced it like a football team firing its coach. So there were a lot of comments like that, and I don't think the situation is funny for the family, but I think it's funny how people are responding, because clearly I don't really think Dave Grohl wanted this to become a meme, though maybe that's the best thing that could have happened under the circumstances. But you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know this is not the most serious thing going on planet Earth right now, but sometimes discussing stupid shit like this does pertain to bigger things, like I said before. Like, even with, like I said, propaganda, politics, turning around a sentence so you're not saying, hey, I cheated, she got pregnant, we're having the child, my family hates me, but you turn it into, I had a child outside of my marriage, blah, blah, blah. It has a different effect on people, and I think that that's why it's becoming a meme as opposed to being really super slammed. And I know some people are like saying, he was my hero and now blah, 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 and you know, that's to be expected. But I do think that potentially the PR was maybe smart, now that I think of it, if it was trying to turn all of this into a joke, which is working. Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.